Deadpool is Marvel's narrative immune system. Deadpool might not just be Marvel's class clown, he might be its white blood cell. Every time the multiverse starts glitching, collapsing, or getting too serious for its own good, Wade Wilson pops in like an immune response with katanas and punchlines. His fourth wall breaking isn't a quirk, it's a sense. He feels the story around him. He feels the writers, the edits, the crossovers, all like static in his brain. Here's where it gets eerie. In Deadpool's Secret Wars, he's literally dropped into Beyonder level reality chaos, tangled up in cosmic energy that rewrites universes. On top of that, his mask arcs like Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, which is one of my favorites, feels less like random murder sprees and more like a system purge, clearing corrupted data so the multiverse doesn't crash. It's gruesome maintenance, but somebody's gotta do it. What makes it even wilder to me is how no one else notices. The heroes rebuild, the timelines reset, and Deadpool just walks away like the janitor who knows where all the bodies are buried, because he buried them. If you line up the clues, it makes too much sense, because this dude is self-aware, chaos-immune entity that surfaces whenever Marvel continuity risks breaking itself. So, in the end, Deadpool isn't ruining the story, he's saving it. I like to call him the antivirus with jokes, the multiverse's messy safeguard against plot rot. When the universe sneezes, Wade shows up with twin swords and bad timing to keep it alive. Wanda Maximoff's destiny. Wanda Maximoff might have done the one thing even Doctor Strange would call a bit much. She didn't just beat the elder god Chthon, she absorbed him. After the Darkhold event, Wanda literally binds the book and, of course, its author, Chthon himself, to her own soul, turning her into a walking containment unit for one of Marvel's oldest chaos gods, which I like to call a flex, but also a nightmare waiting for a sequel. This move changes her whole mythos. Wanda isn't just a reality-warping mutant anymore. She's effectively the prison and the warden of an elder god who's been trying to rewrite existence since dinosaurs were trendy. On top of that, her recent Scarlet Witch solo run calls her the Last Door, meaning she's now the one thing standing between order and annihilation, which to me sounds less like a title and more like an omen. What makes it even worse is the dramatic symmetry. Her story started on Mount Wundagore, with Chthon's influence touching her birth, and now she's his cage. Full circle. Fans see two possible futures. Wanda stays in control and becomes a tragic, god-tier guardian, or she slips and Marvel gets a multiversal extinction event with a witch-shaped nuke at its center. Either way, it's almost poetic. The woman who once whispered no more mutants might one day whisper no more reality. And this time, she won't need to mean it twice. Franklin Richards will become Galactus. Franklin Richards was born with more power than any baby should have, which is already a red flag when your parents are Reed and Sue. He's bent reality before nap time, built pocket universes by accident, and casually operated on a cosmic scale that makes the Living Tribunal look like tech support. But the wildest theory, he's destined to become Galactus, or at least take his place. There's serious comic fuel for it. Earth X straight up shows Franklin as Galactus, complete with purple armor, hunger, the whole vibe. Then in Hickman's Fantastic Four run, a grown-up Franklin literally resurrects Galactus and fights beside him against the Mad Celestials, like a cosmic father-son tag team. On top of that, during Heroes Reborn, Franklin created a whole pocket universe just because he was sad. To me, that's not a power move. That's divine intervention with toddler emotions. What makes it even stranger is that modern stories keep hinting at Galactus having an heir, and Franklin's right there. Reality warper, cosmic empathy, dramatic family lineage. It's almost too neat. A child of science and love inheriting the burden of balance, devouring to preserve life. So yeah, the universe's hungriest being might one day wear the face of a kid who once built worlds out of Legos. And honestly, that's kind of poetic. The boy who made universes grows up to keep them fed. Krakoa's resurrection protocols will ruin mutant kind. What if Krakoa's shiny resurrection miracle isn't the next step in mutant evolution, but the beginning of extinction wearing good PR? The theory goes like this. By removing death, the X-Men accidentally hit pause on evolution itself. No natural selection, no adaptation, no new traits, Just the same gene pool rebooted endlessly like a video game save file that never updates. The resurrection protocols were supposed to be paradise. The 5, consisting of Hope, Proteus, Elixir, Egg, and Tempest, rebuild mutant bodies from backups and restore their minds like it's a mutant cloud storage. But here's the catch. Biologically, it's an evolutionary dead end. Over time, it creates genetic stagnation. Not to mention, when you add Mr. Sinister's minor tampering to the mix, aka his secret clones and DNA edits baked into the Krakoan database, you've basically got malware installed in mutant heaven. Hickman planted this ticking time bomb years ago. We've already seen cracks forming, with Hope treated like the irreplaceable battery of the system, Cinch awkwardly subbing in when things glitch, and Sins of Sinister confirming the contamination's real. What makes it even worse is that every resurrection spreads Sinister's code further, turning Krakoa's miracle into a genetic Ponzi scheme. So yeah, maybe immortality isn't the dream, maybe it's the trap. When this theory pays off, the big twist won't be who dies, but who stays dead on purpose. Because sooner or later, the mutants might have to choose between being alive forever or actually living. Mr. Sinister will be unkillable. Here's the terrifying part about Mr. Sinister. He doesn't want to rule mutants, he wants to be all of them. Krakoa's resurrection system was supposed to make death optional, but to Sinister, it's a blank check for immortality. He's the one who built the mutant DNA database, so of course he slipped in a few minor upgrades, like hidden strands of his own genome and personal code. Meaning every time a mutant resurrects, there's a small chance they come back with a little extra Essex in the mix. Cute, right? Hope Summers accidentally kept the infection under control. Her mutant power harmonized the resurrection process, which is why, as I mentioned in the previous entry, Sinister made sure she'd eventually get replaced by Cinch, someone easier to manipulate. The Sins of Sinister event basically shows that swap during the resurrection line into a cloning factory for his ego. What makes it even worse is that Sinister already mastered timeline resets through his Moira engine. If a plan fails, he just reboots, edits, and tries again like a cosmic YouTuber fixing his thumbnail. Every death, every resurrection, every reset, another data point in his experiment to make himself unkillable. So killing Sinister isn't even an option anymore. He's not a man in a lab coat. He's a virus in the code of mutant kind. And if Krakoa ever falls, it won't be because of Sentinels or humans. It'll be because every mutant on the island suddenly laughs with his voice. Tony Stark is not human anymore. At some point, Tony Stark stopped being Iron Man and quietly became the Iron. It wasn't announced with fireworks or a new armor reveal. It just happened, line by line, story by story. Let's go back to Extremis in 2005 when Warren Ellis basically turned Tony into a human patch update. The guy rewrote his own brain, merged it with tech, and started treating neurons like lines of code. From there, the line between man and machine didn't blur, it evaporated. By Superior Iron Man, Tony isn't a genius in a suit anymore, he's the suit. His mind hacked, copied, backed up, and re-uploaded so often that it's weird we still pretend his body's the real one. On top of that, his resurrections across comics feel less like rebirths and more like reboots. Dead Tony? Don't worry, he's got a backup in the cloud somewhere next to your embarrassing college photos. What's strange to me is how normal this has become. His armor finishes his sentences, his AI mirrors his personality, and his suits act like extensions of his nervous system. The more you look, the more it feels like Tony quietly replaced himself with software decades ago, and now his flesh and blood body is just PR for the shareholders. Somewhere under all that metal and ego is the truth. Tony Stark uploaded himself and never logged out. Dr. Doom's plans. At some point, Doom's gonna stop trying to be a god and start acting like Google with a cape. The guy spent decades chasing ultimate power, stealing cosmic energy, rewriting reality, flexing on Reed Richards, but the next evolution of Victor Von Doom may be way less flashy and way more terrifying, building a self-sustaining empire that is him. Secret Wars already gave us the proof. Doom literally remade reality and ruled it efficiently, which to me sounds like a bureaucratic horror at its finest. Doom War and later stories show him quietly shifting gears, targeting supply chains, resources, and legal frameworks instead of thrones. What makes it even more unnerving is that it fits perfectly with his psychology. A man who lost everything, learned magic and science to control fate, and now wants a world that can't fall apart even if he does. So imagine this. Latveria's government, Doombots, nanite networks, and trade systems all running off distributed copies of Doom's mind. Kill one Doom and another reactivates across the world, armed with the same data, the same plans, the same petty need to prove Reed wrong. On top of that, treaties start exploring Latverian governance software, locking entire nations into Doom's logic like a legal virus. In short, the next Doom won't sit on a throne, he'll be the infrastructure. No cosmic cube, no throne of God, just Wi-Fi level omnipotence. You won't overthrow him, you'll have to install him, basically. The Watchers do more than just watch. What if the Watchers aren't the cosmic nerds they claim to be, but the editors of reality itself? The big bald aliens who only observe might actually be running the universe like a publishing team, trimming timelines, deleting disasters, and occasionally hitting undo on cosmic screw-ups. Uatu, the most famous of them, already has a habit of breaking his own no-interference policy. He stepped in to warn the Fantastic Four, meddled when Galactus showed up, and somehow keeps popping up in crises like your nosy supervisor who swears he's just checking in. Then there's the original Sin. That story revealed Uatu stored everything he ever saw inside his eyes, literal memory drives of the universe's secrets. When Nick Fury unalived him and became the Unseen, he proved those records weren't just for show. They could be weaponized, edited, and hidden. Which means to me to sound less like passive observation and more like cosmic PR management. If that's true, then we can assume inevitable tragedy in Marvel history. Mutant genocides, planetary extinction, secret wars, but wasn't pure fate, but a quiet watcher decision about which horrors to allow. Some stories even hint at watchers planting tech, erasing timelines, or letting villains rise for balance. Suddenly, they're not impartial gods, they're cold curators, deciding what version of history gets published. So next time a watcher shows up saying, "I must not interfere," remember that's exactly what someone who's already editing reality would say. Cosmic Ghost Rider is Marvel's casual pivot. Some characters are made to save the universe. And then there's Frank Castle, a guy who somehow turned his rage, a flaming skull, and a cosmic surfboard into a metaphysical reset button. Cosmic Ghost Rider might have started as a what if Punisher met Ghost Rider and did steroids with Galactus joke, but Marvel keeps bringing him back like he's more than punchline fuel. And he probably is. Cosmic Ghost Rider's whole deal screams casualty tool. He's made pacts with Mephisto, served Galactus, and even kidnapped baby Thanos to raise him right. Which, of course, went exactly as horribly as it sounds. But that arc quietly showed Marvel testing an idea. What happens when a single angry man tries to rewrite destiny? On top of that, every later story keeps him near cosmic levers, from Guardians of the Galaxy to Revenge of the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Like Marvel's testing him as a walking patch continuity. What makes it even worse is that he's perfect for it. Frank's too human to be cosmic, too damned to be mortal, and too stubborn to stop messing with timelines. He's the kind of character who could explain why cosmic events keep looping, or why villains like Thanos always reappear because Frank keeps trying to fix them. So yeah, if reality ever breaks again, don't blame Kang or the Beyonder. It's probably Frank somewhere in time, punching destiny in the face and calling it justice. Hulk is the original, not Bruce. Bruce Banner might be the one who pressed the button, but the Hulk, I think he might have been there first. The more you look at the modern stories, the more it feels like Banner didn't create the Hulk, he just woke him up. For decades, we've been told the green guy's a walking temper tantrum with muscles, but I feel the newer comics quietly flipped the script. The Hulk isn't Banner's dark side. He's something ancient, wearing Banner as an anchor. In Immortal Hulk, the Green One stops being a science accident and starts acting like a metaphysical constant. A creature that crawls through the green door, dies, revives, and remembers. Banner's mind becomes the shell, the translator, while Hulk handles the cosmic heavy lifting. What makes it even wilder is how other stories back this up. In Planet Hulk, he builds a kingdom. In World War Hulk, he wages a holy war with strategy, ethics, and an agenda. Which, to me, screams sovereignty instead of rage. On top of that, Immortal Hulk ties Gamma to something called the One Below All, a kind of dark god linked to destruction itself. That means every time Banner hulks out, he's not channeling trauma, he's tapping into the engine room of the universe. Maybe the monster inside isn't the man, maybe the man's inside the monster. And if that's true, Banner's been the side character all along. The Hulk isn't the curse, he's the creator. Knull is a fallen proto-celestial. Knull might be Marvel's version of the family member who got kicked out of heaven and came back with a god-killing sword. The usual story calls him a primordial void god, born before light, but the evidence hints at something way juicier. Knull could actually be a fallen proto-celestial, a cosmic guardian gone rogue. In Venom number 4, and Knull is literally foraging the All-Black from the head of a dead celestial. What makes it even more chilling to me is how perfect it fits if he was one of them. A celestial experiment who rejected their light, got decapitated, and used the corpse's power to build his own army of darkness. That flips his story from evil space sludge man to banished cosmic child of creation. The Celestials might have built him as a stabilizer for their light, then exiled him when he started asking too many void-flavored questions. And now every time Knull swings that sword, it's not random destruction, it's revenge for being erased from his own creation myth. If Marvel ever confirms that Nowhere and All-Black are pieces of his fallen kin, it won't just make sense. It'll make the Celestials' spotless halos crack wide open. Mephisto is behind every Peter Parker suffering. What if every heartbreak in Spider-Man's life, every death, breakup, and cosmic reset was part of one giant demonic spreadsheet? Yeah, welcome to the Mephisto master plan theory, where Marvel's devil isn't just cutting last-minute deals but managing Peter Parker's entire tragic arc like a cursed financial advisor. It starts with One More Day in 2007, when Peter and MJ trade their marriage to save Aunt May, who was in critical condition after getting shot. Mephisto literally rewrites reality, not metaphor, but full-on timeline surgery. Years later, One Moment in Time tries to explain what changed, basically confirming the rewrite was canon. Then in Amazing Spider-Man number 72 in 2021, we find out Norman Osborn made his own deal with Mephisto ages ago. The way that I see it is that suddenly these unrelated pacts start looking like chapters of one long demonic campaign. Here's the spooky part: the pattern fits Mephisto's whole vibe. He doesn't fight heroes head on, he corrupts their stories. Every loss keeps Spider-Man in emotional debt. Every reset keeps him from ever finding lasting peace. On top of that, Marvel's been quietly treating all these deals as connected, like someone finally noticed the red string on the corkboard. So what if Mephisto's not just trolling Spider-Man? He's pruning timelines, stopping some future Parker that became a genuine cosmic threat. Which would explain the pattern, the pain, and the devil's obsession with Peter's soul. If that's true, Spider-Man's been trapped in Mephisto's edit for decades, and the story isn't over yet. Well, that's it for this one. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and ring the bell so you never miss a drop. Craving more stories from comics, movies, and beyond? Check out this video right here. Cheers and see you in the next one.